I grew up in a family that had money. We didn't necessarily have a lot of want. And my parents were really great about teaching us skills on how to interact with it from a logistical perspective. On the emotional side, money was just a really big stress around my parents' relationship. It was probably the biggest thing that they fought about. And so when they were talking finances, you knew to stay far away. So I feel like there was an element of negative emotion that I attached to money because of that. It got scary, or it was something that I wanted to avoid. So I took a big pay cut and went to work for a nonprofit organization. And it was a big step in faith in doing that, and knowing that some of my family members wouldn't necessarily support it just because money is a value, and I would be making a lot less. But I didn't necessarily change my spending habits. Even though my lifestyle, my income was changing, I didn't change what was leaving, what was going out. And so I found myself continuing to gain debt. And then went to grad school and didn't change my lifestyle there either. And just kind of as life went on, just felt like a heavier and heavier weight with money because my debt was getting larger, but I was just determined not to pay attention to it. As my debt started to accumulate, I felt a lot more worry, a lot more stress, and had a hard time, I guess, trusting God that He would provide, but also just felt a lot of pressure on myself and figuring out how I would manage from month to month. Really, more so, it was the shame and the guilt that was starting to become bigger and bigger, and I wasn't sure how to deal with it. I felt like it kept me from being honest with people that loved me and wanted to help me, and I felt like I was keeping something hidden, and just didn't like that feeling. It didn't feel like me. It didn't feel truthful. I had a friend who, she just was really honest with me about her money and money within her marriage, and her desire to want to talk more openly about it with her husband and figure out better spending decisions. And so she asked if I wanted to take a class with them, a financial peace class, and I said yes. Finding that support in my community and being honest with other people about my debt and explaining to them how much, I felt a really big, overwhelming desire just to share the number with someone, like I owe this much on credit cards, and just felt a lot of freedom from doing that and bringing it into the light. I think that's part of what I wanted to do more of, was just be honest with how I was learning about money and how I was working to spend less. So I pay and keep paying off debt month by month. My relationship with money is realizing that money in and of itself doesn't have emotion, that I have the emotion towards it, with it, around it, and that I can choose to interact with it in a proactive way, or I can choose to ignore it, and both of those are choices. And so just the realization that it's not something that money's doing to me, but it's something that I can choose to do about money or with money, and that we have a relationship with money, whether or not we admit it or not, that we have one. And I think that shift has been really influential in how I interact with money.